Howdy. Be doing something a little different tonight. I'm going to show you how to replicate a fish. Now, I am not going to be using a fish that I caught, although down the road I will. Tonight, I'm just going to show you how to trace a fish on a piece of paper and cut it out on a piece of wood and paint it. Now that we have our fish traced out, go ahead and grab a board to copy your trace of onto the board. After using an actual fish, then you just grab your board, plop the fish on it, trace it out, cut it out, and then you get to work. But also try to avoid knots. So, I do not want that knot getting tied up in that top portion because that could pop out, although it is pretty cool. Go ahead and flip it over, have the knots at the bottom, trace it out. So now that I got this fish traced out, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it out with a jigsaw. Nice fish. Now I can start drawing in on my gills and more detail that I'm about to carve out. Now you can stop at this point and paint it, and that'd be perfectly fine. But you want to add more detail, make it look a little fonchy, then follow along. All right, so what I'm going to do is use a pencil, and I'm going to trace the gills and all my detail lines of the fish's head, and then I'm going to flip it over and press hard. That way I transfer the pencil markings onto the wood. So I know it's hard to see, but it did transfer the lines, not incredibly. I had some other lines on there too that it did transfers. Now that we have this fish traced out, cut out, and marked out with detail lines, we can go ahead and start removing wood. That's what wood glue is for. So sometimes you carve a little too hard and breaks the wood. This is pine, so it's pretty soft wood, and it's okay. Gonna use some wood glue, glue back on, it'll all be all right. Now that I got this fish roughed out, very, very roughed out, I'm gonna go ahead and come back with a Dremel and clean up. The gills, the mouth, the pectoral fin, minus a fin that I'm going to glue on, all cut out, looking good. I'm going to go with the Dremel now and do some cross hatching on the body to make it look like it has scales. Add some detail to the fins quick, and then it'll be ready for some paint. Gotta glue this pectoral fin back on, and then cut an eye hole out, put an eye in it. We're gonna do the dowel eye and paint it. So to make my eyes for the redfish, I'm just using a wooden dowel and I'm rounding off the end of it, and then I'll cut it off and fit it in the eye hole. So I used a 3/4 inch bit to draw out that eye hole, and I just dropped the eye in there and it fit perfect. All right, at this point, it's like midnight. My eyes hurt, my brain hurts, but we have a pretty sweet looking redfish that is gonna look awesome once it gets the paint on. So here is this redfish. Got this bottom pectoral fin glued on. It's drying. It's looking pretty good. I haven't measured this yet. 25. If I pinch the tail, I bet it'd be 26, 26 and a half. Too bad it's wood, can't do that. For the coat of primer, I'm just gonna use a white, and it's oil-based. It doesn't really matter what kind of paint you use. I like to use white because painting over any other color sometimes is complicated. So just use a white base. It can be acrylic, enamel, oil, anything really, it doesn't matter. Just as long as you get one base coat on, that wood will suck up that base coat and you'll be good to go with your rattle cans. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start painting this redfish. So there's not really a whole lot you need to do this. The paint's gonna be pretty simple. I've got some spray paint here. I'll be using black, brown, yellow, gold, like a shell white, some blue for the tail, some red. And you'll need a regular piece of computer paper like this, just a 11x8 sheet. So to start out, we're gonna do some red and brown along the back, some yellow and gold, and then some white. Here's what the sheet of paper is going to come in. I'm going to kind of draw that line that separates the gold body from the upper top. Sort of like that. Here's kind of what we have so far. here we've got gold and yellow mixed together. The white belly. And then on the back, this is red and brown. I'm going to tie in just a hint of black on the back here, up on the fin, and then I'm going to come back to the tail. And I'm going to mix some blue in with this brown. And then for the bottom pectorals, I'm going to do red and white to make a pink fin. And then we'll come back later to paint on the pink fin here and the spot in the back. And then blue. Like that. And there it is, painted with spray paints. So we got pink fins, pink orange fins. We'll come back and clean this up with the brushes later, but that gives us a good base. Up here we've got the defining line between the color variations, the brown and the yellowish gold body, white belly. And that took all but maybe 5 minutes to do. Okay, well, redfish is dry, so I'm going to go ahead and get some more paint on it. Add some detail, make it look even more like a redfish, and then clear coat it, and it's ready to go on the wall. First thing I'm going to do on this is take some white and just dab right here where the pink is, just to kind of make that pink disappear, blend it in, and not make that pink come all the way up to the belly. Same thing for this back fin. Alright, now we need to do some pink up here. So you're going to need a little red and a little white. We're going to add a little bit of yellow too. Kind of give it an orange fin. You can even come in here and kind of brush it into the fin. You have to go crazy, but just to kind of make all the colors match. Leave that pink underneath though, because it adds a good base. Alright, now we're going to add the spot back here in the tail, and we're going to do a couple along the body, since perfect redfish are boring. I think I'll get rid of that one right there. To get rid of this, just dab some water on it, and it's like using an eraser. This is acrylic paint, so get rid of that one too. Alright, now all we need is the eye. So for the eye, we're going to take some gold for the iris, and we're going to come back with some black for the pupil. And then take a dab of white. Put it right there. And there's our eye. One other thing I like to do, just to kind of define the gills a little bit, is to take some white, water it down, and then just follow the gills. There's a redfish. Just needs a clear coat now. Alright. Redfish is dry. Paint's dry. It's been a couple days, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it with some crystal clear enamel clear spray, and this is going to protect it and make all that paint pot blend together and make it look super duper good. So all you got to do is spray it on, let it dry, and it's ready to go on the wall. Beautiful looking redfish to hang on the wall.